Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for week 37. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here from High-Tech Investment and welcome back to the channel where again today we're going to have a look back, see what has happened in the past week, which EAs are actually making money, which ones are struggling. Now, there was no news report the week before in here. It was more doom and gloom, as we call the apocalypse. This was actually due to profits declining, not accounts breaking up or basically blowing. But the profits for the month of July and August has been low. And we were asking ourselves, are we getting out of this anytime soon? Now, if you've seen the thumbnail already for this YouTube video, you will see that our profits are actually coming back alive here. The question is the apocalypse now over? Are we actually going to get some reasonable profits and results back in? Well, you're going to have to watch this video all the way to the end, but I assure you that the results is definitely in here. We're going to cover everything today. Also, we have a new video out, and if you haven't seen that one yet, we're going to talk a bit more about it later on in the program. We also have to go over our copy link service because there's plenty of signals that you can link to and make actually good money. Even though that some of the months has been lean, you will still see that some of them are creating very, very good results, very, very good profits. And also from Expert Forex, there's actually news. There is a way how you can double your account in simply one trade or one day in here. We're also going to cover. There is some changes in here that might be very, very beneficial for you. Definitely also, we're going to dive further into this. So let's see how the week has been. Starting with the Wave Liberator for week 37, the top 5 EAs in here. On top, we have US Japanese, $38, 3.8%. Then it drops with the Euro USD, $28, 2.8%. And then at the bottom, we have another Japanese currency pair, Great British Pounds, Japanese, $21, 2.1%. Overall, this top 5 portfolio in here made $139 for the week, or 2.8%. So that means right over 10% for the month if that continues. If we have a look at the entire portfolio, we can see a very nice, great curve. It did flatten out a bit here in June, end of June, July, and August. But good to see that the profit is now back. Balance is 267,000 in here. Equity has basically dropped a bit because of the floating profit of loss end of last week. As we are shooting this video, most of the drawdowns has actually dropped again. So that is very good to see. So it is recovering at the moment. We have a total return of 21.8%. But don't forget here, we have $10,000 accounts, but we are actually trading 1,000. So that means the monthly return is not 1%, it's 10. Weekly returns is about 2 and a bit percent, and trade wins 68.6, so that doesn't change. With a lot of pips, 75,000 taken so far. Trades per day is 12 for the Wave Liberator, and we have a lot of history of 755 days in here. But what we are interested in is actually having a look in the last couple of weeks, and we had $96 on the last time we had a news report, so that was certainly a bit of a disaster. Then it came up 302, and this week it was 241. So definitely heavy improvement, as you can see, compared to the last month or even 6 weeks in here. So that is a new all-time high if we are just looking the 6 weeks back. For the RSI Liberator, it's very similar. You will notice straight away in here that we have 4 out of the 5 with Japanese currency pairs. So that has been very active. And I know also a lot of people, they don't want to trade the Japanese one because it can be trending. So you don't want to use that with a grid system like we do in here. But well, look and behold, we are getting a lot of dollars in for this particular one here. We have drawdowns, but the way we have set it up, we can manage the drawdowns and still get this $55 or 5.5% for the week. So that is really, really good, with the Aussie Japanese coming in at $36, 3.6%. And at the bottom, we have New Zealand Japanese, $27, 2.7%. So this, which is a very Japanese heavy portfolio, $177 or 3.5%. So that's well above the 10% mark if these continue to produce similar results. We also have to have a look, of course, at the entire portfolio in here. Floating profit or loss, 15,000. Closed profits is more than 28,000. But again, there is 22 accounts of $10,000 set up, but they are being traded like $1,000. So the monthly return for the RSI is down at 8% at the moment. It used to be higher. So we are expecting that to slowly rise again now that we are seeing some decent profits. And if we have a look at the pips, 39,000 trades per day, a bit more than the Wave Liberator, 13.8, but also with a great history of 524 days in here. And the same goes also when we have a look at the net profits for the weeks. Last time we were on $113. Since then it was $290, and this week it was $297. So definitely some very good numbers. Great to see that things are actually improving. And if we have a look and see where 290, we have to go back to around the middle of June last time to find some results that are better. So it's that is a good indication that things are happening. For the Hedge EA, also here, that has also been very, very low and slow. Great British Pounds AUD, however, comes in at the top 5 for $38, 3.8%, and then followed by the Aussie CAD, $31, 3.1%. And you have another Aussie one at the bottom. So this is very Aussie heavy for the portfolio. Aussie USD, $22, 2.2%, and overall $136, 2.7%. And again, in the range of 10% for the month if they continue to produce as they do now. Also in here, again, portfolio of $10,000 accounts, 16 of those. And at the moment, still floating profit and loss. That actually came back in April. After that, it has still produced some decent results, but it's still carrying around a lot of drawdown. Monthly returns is around 10%. And if we have a look, trades per day and a history of 238 days, well, let's have a look then and see how well they are doing on a weekly basis. Last time we had some very low numbers. Look at that, 72, 84, 74. Then it was better in the mid-August, 134, then dropped again to 79. Now it looks like we're getting out of the hole in here with 174 from the prior week. And then last week here was 209. And again, we have to go back to the month of June to see some results that are even better. So very, very good news also for this EA. Simple Grid Trader, well, that one normally always produces some good numbers. They are, however, a bit low. New Zealand Japanese, another Japanese one, as you'll see in here. But we also have quite a few New Zealand, so as we normally don't have too many of those. But the top one, New Zealand Japanese, is $44, 4.4%, and the Great British Pounds New Zealand comes in shortly after at $42, 4.2%, and then drops down to Great British Pounds CAD, $30, 3%. Overall, this portfolio here does very well, and if all of them continues, definitely also more than 10% for the month. But total for the week, $188, 3.8%. So that's some good, decent numbers overall. So let's have a look at the portfolio itself. We can see that also has flattened out a bit. And this particular one has been set up with $21,000 accounts, so you don't have to convert anything in here. Equity is 22, so that means we are in the positive. But total returns is around 16%. Monthly returns, at the moment, it's been keep dropping for the past couple of months. Some of the back testing looks very, very good on this EA. But as you can see, the monthly results, well, most of it actually doesn't relate into huge profits. 6.7 is definitely disappointing. The trade wins are high with 72%. But again, at the end, if it doesn't produce any dollars, then obviously we'll have to see what we can do. We have optimized already a lot of them. So trades per day, 19, and a history now of 151 days is actually quite fast. how long we have actually been trading this particular one here. It seems like we started just last month, but as you can see, there's plenty of months in here. Most of them have some decent profits. The prior week was minus 48, so that was not very good. This week we are back up again, not in the top, but 262 is definitely a nice recovery and takes care of the little loss we had the prior week. Now, I mentioned also here that there was a video that I put out. Now, this is about 10 days ago. This is a free EA you can get your hands on. And our question was here, can this particular EA dominate the Forex market? We did some back testing. We showed you a couple of different currency pairs in here. If you haven't seen the video, I'll make sure that the link for the video is in the description below. You can go and have a closer look to see exactly how you can get your hands on this particular EA and what kind of results it's actually producing. Now, if we have a look at the lucky trader for week 37 in here, then that also seems to have come alive again with the Aussie cats. In this particular portfolio, we seems to have a lot of Canadian, we seems to have a lot of USD, mostly Canadian, and that one is on top with the Aussie cat, $38, 3.8%, and then followed by a bit further down here, Great British Pounds USD at $23, 2.3%, and the bottom one for this portfolio here, again another Canadian, this time British Pounds Canadian, $20, 2%. And then overall the portfolio, $124, 2.5%. And that is not too bad, but we are normally expecting a bit more from the lucky trader. And again, we have 16 accounts started off with, so 160,000. These are $10,000 accounts again. But we also have some floating profit and loss for this particular one here at the moment. And again, that comes down to mostly the weakening of the US and Canadian dollar in here versus the Swiss francs versus the euro. So we'll see how that goes in the next couple of weeks and months. If we have a look, we have made 34,000 pips so far. Trades per day is around 13 with a history of 316 days. And the important part here is we can see some great improvements. $79, that was the low point. It hasn't been lower at any other point with the lucky trader. So we are glad to see the 242 that we got the prior week, and now last week 202. So these are good numbers showing that it's going the right way. Another one is actually going the right way that I haven't mentioned too much about. This is again the Simple RSI Trader. So this is not a grid trading EA, it is individual trades, and it is the simple version in here. So that means there's no filters or anything else. It is an RSI, and then there's a take profit, there's a stop loss in here, but the entire portfolio is actually doing quite well. We did have a bit of a drop, as you can see here. This is now about a month or so ago, and since then it has been pretty much going in the right direction. You can see we started off with a balance of 6,000, so that means there's 20 accounts of $300 each, and those are also on the coupling service. Floating profit and loss is minus 42 at the moment, so that's quite high. I think the highest we actually seen is minus 80. So very, very low drawdowns on these particular ones in here. But that has also changed as we were shooting the video. We're pretty much back into zero. So that is good news. Close profits, as you can see, 887. So very surprised that this is actually working out so well. Monthly returns 4.8. Yes, it is low. It's the lowest of all of them. But this was actually done more as a test here of the EA. If this simple version would actually work and make money, it looks like it does, because total return so far is 18.7. If you want to have some of these signals in here on the coupling service, all you do is simply dial it up. You can dial it up to double, and then obviously you'll also double your monthly returns. And as you'll see in here, then the floating profit or loss will just be about 100 or maybe 120, and compared to 6,000 in here, that is still very, very low. Trade wins are still very good, so they're about 70% almost in here. We've taken more than 3,700 pips. Trades per day, there's not many because it's individual trades that we have. And again, they are set up to try and get obviously a high win rate at the same time. So 3.5 trades per day, that is what we get. History of 112 days. And again, that looks pretty okay. And if we then go for the net profits for the weeks, you'll see that we have, well, if we go all the way back to end of June, we had a bad week there of -21. Then another one end of July at -154. Luckily, we made some good money the week prior to that. So that was pretty much nilled out. Since then, things have been actually happening and going in the right direction. So the prior week, 123. This week, a bit lower for 74 only. But you can see the trend is actually pretty okay. It's moving in the right direction. Now, I also wanted to show you this particular video here. Now, that is a bit of an older one. And this is the EA Showdown, where I take 4 of the EAs that you have seen here today up against each other and basically having a look at the profit they made from January 2025 until end of June, and basically tell you which one is the best one. You'll see it from month to month, and then we compare them up against each other. If you haven't seen that one, I will also add it into the video description below, because that will give you a very good idea of which EA you want to buy first, which one you want to buy second, which ones are the ones that can basically produce the right numbers over long periods of time, and 6 months is certainly that. And some of the best results that also comes from that video is also on the copy link service. We have the latest and greatest update. So this is from 13th of September. Normally on the weekend, Expert Forex updates these. As usual, I go in and cut the floating profit and loss. I don't want to see anything over 300. As you can see here, these are extremely low overall. Return on total drawdown, also I want to have at least 100%. And all of these are, there's 107, 108. But you can see the numbers are still looking extremely good. Total negative weeks in the last 8 weeks. I don't want to see anything over $300. And we're not even close. The worst one here is link 177C with minus 173, and that's not too bad considering that this is actually a $1,000 account. You can see also the new setup, the account size requirements. So these are some of the 300s that I mentioned for the Simple RSI Trader in here. So they are actually here. They are doing quite a good results. If you go from the gains the last 8 weeks, high to low, you'll see that the bottom one is 6%, 7, 8, 10, and then it goes fast, 24, 26, 28, 30, 31, and the top one in here is 35% in the last 8 weeks or 2 months. And that is definitely numbers that we are very, very happy with for the week. I mentioned in the beginning of the video also that Expert Forex had a new video out, and this one here actually is very, very interesting. Now, this is about an EA, an old EA called double in a day accounts. So basically what it does, it'll have to run into a trend. So this is not a grid trading EA. You are looking for trends, and you have to, normally the best results comes from index trading, or if you do gold, if you do crypto trading. We're going to try and test all of this out. So the idea again here is you start off with one trade, and again with a take profit and a stop loss in here. But then as the hopefully trade goes with you, you're going to basically top up with another 3 trades in here. And at the end of the day, when the trade closes or the next day, then definitely you will end up with doubling your accounts. And the good part about this is there is a risk limitation. So as you are setting the second trade in here, you will basically be risk-free. So it is a very interesting concept in here. And now this particular one has been automated. Before you had to find your own entry points, but Expert Forex have now updated this particular EA in here. So it is automated, and I definitely suggest that you go and have a look at this particular video here. We will definitely try and get our hands on this particular EA and try and test it out for you. And you will be able to see that in one of the videos here coming soon. So the entry parts for this particular EA is there's 5-in-1 entry expert advisors, and there's 3 top-ups as I mentioned. And basically what that means is that will give you a very, very good idea of how you can double your accounts in a very short period of time. So this is what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, the apocalypse seems to be over right now. Profit has actually coming back on all the EAs. You have one that struggles a bit, which is actually the Simple Trader. It hasn't done too well in the past couple of weeks, but I'm sure that that will turn around again. That is the nature of the EAs. That's the nature of the Forex market. It goes up and down like a roller coaster all the time, but you have to be in it to win it. That is the name of the game. I hoped once again that you took some experience and some lessons of looking at which EAs are actually producing good results, which ones that you might dive into, or if everything of this is too much of a hassle, then the copy link service might be just the way for you to go ahead. Until then, I hope I'm gonna see you on one of my other videos. Otherwise, the news report comes out next week again. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way, you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.